Andrew Weissman, your reading of what we've learned about the Eastman iPhone.
So it's quite interesting. What we learned is a New Mexico federal judge signed on Monday, June 17th, an order that allowed the FBI to seize and search that phone, which means that the FBI established to that judge that there was probable cause of a crime and that there would be probable cause that there was evidence of that crime on his phone. In other words, the FBI can't just go ahead and seize something. They need court authorization, and they got it. And the other thing that's kind of interesting is it's not just that it happened, the actual execution happened on the same day as the execution of the home search of Jeffrey Clark, but it's clear that they are linked because the Office of the Inspector General was involved in both searches, and the Office of Inspector General only has authority if a DOJ figure is involved. And Eastman is not a DOJ figure, Clark is. So there has to be a connection between the two in order for the Office of Inspector General to be involved with Eastman. And we know from the filing today that they were.
Ken Dilanian, your reading of what we found out today.
So, Lawrence, it's more than just that the Office of Inspector General was involved. The actual warrant, when you look at it, was an Office of Inspector General warrant. There may have been FBI agents on hand to assist, which is very common because the Department of Justice Inspector General is a tiny agency. But many people may have forgotten that back in January 2021, the Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, announced after some revelations about Jeffrey Clark that he was launching an investigation into the conduct of current and former Department of Justice employees and whether they sought to improperly use the Justice Department to overthrow the election. And it really looks like we're seeing the fruits of that investigation in these two search warrant executions. And of course, Wednesday, there was also a series of subpoenas reported against people involved in the fake electors scheme. The question that a lot of people are puzzling about is, where is the FBI in this? Because, as Andrew said, the Department of Justice Inspector General only has jurisdiction over political corruption involving DOJ employees. Now, he can range far and wide where the evidence goes in terms of that corruption, but there has to be a nexus, and it sure looks like there's a nexus between Eastman and Clark and the conspiracy. But what happens with all the stuff they get on Eastman's phone that doesn't relate to anybody at the Justice Department, but relates to what he was trying to do in convincing Mike Pence to change the result of the election on January 6th? That's outside the jurisdiction of the Inspector General. And so it really begs the question, when does the FBI step in and start conducting a robust investigation that leads potentially to former President Trump?
And Andrew, Eastman, in his lawsuit to try to get his phone back, is saying the Inspector General doesn't have any jurisdiction over me. I was not a Justice Department employee.
Yeah, so that's a really bad argument if the Department of Justice is contending that there's a conspiracy. So if there's a conspiracy between Eastman and somebody at the Justice Department, such as Jeffrey Clark, then the Office of Inspector General does have authority. As well, if a close reading of that application by Eastman shows that the FBI was involved, and that the FBI was the ones that actually seized the phone, and they were just going to deliver it to the Office of Inspector General lab for examination. So I don't think that the Eastman application is going to go very far, at least at this point. If he's charged, he obviously can make motions to suppress. But I think at this point, his filing is largely, it's, I think, dead on arrival.
And Ken, I know you've been covering the developments with the January 6th committee and this surprise hearing for tomorrow. As we try to put the pieces together, we're all doing today, we're putting the pieces together of the puzzle that we've seen so far and trying to figure out what kind of piece would be so urgent that they'd have to schedule it so suddenly for tomorrow.
You would have to ask me that, Lawrence. Honestly, I have no idea. It's one of the best kept secrets in Washington.
Yeah.
People have been talking about it all day. I haven't even heard good speculation about this, other than that there's clearly a reason either about sequencing of witnesses, security of testimony, potential witness intimidation. These are the kinds of ideas people are throwing out. Or a witness that, has recently come forward with information that's so explosive they want to get it out in the public domain immediately. That's about the best I can do.
Andrew, is there any possible Department of Justice interest in what the information might be tomorrow that would be a reason for the committee to rush it?
It's possible, but I'm sort of with Ken that, I don't have any idea what it is, but I think it has to have something to do with the concern over the witness, that the witness will somehow be tampered with, or there'll be intimidation, and that they want to strike while the iron's hot. That would be my guess. Obviously, the information will be made public, and obviously the other audience here is not just the public writ large, but it's Merrick Garland. So that will certainly be an effect.